everybody. Melissa Brannan with the Prize Foundation. Big thank you to our sponsors who help make this possible. We love ya. You're the best. Thank you for your support. We could not do it without you, and we couldn't do it without our viewers today. So welcome everybody to the Prizecast. I am thrilled to have with me today a longtime friend of the Prize, Chef Tristen Epps. Hey Tristen, welcome. Great to see you.
How are you guys doing? It's good to be. Thanks for allowing me on here.
We are thrilled to have you on here. Tristen, a longtime friend of the Prize. You have been, I would say, were you there for the very first food prize?
I was there for, I think, the second food prize.
Yeah, you've been involved as one of our celebrity judges. Tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of your background, your kind of culinary background.
Sure. So my name is Tristen. Right now I live in Miami, Florida, opening up the Red Rooster Overtown. I think when I first started doing Prize Fest, I was actually working in the one in New York City. I've since relocated from New York to Colorado, from Colorado to Miami for warmer weather. I'm originally from Virginia. Grew up in Virginia, North Carolina area. Did culinary school in North Carolina. Did an apprenticeship program in West Virginia. And have been working kind of all over the United States, a little bit overseas, Bermuda, Sweden. That's been really fun. And then I got involved with the Prize a couple years ago, being able to be a judge, being able to do the come and get it, do the one pot cook-off. I've done a few demos. I've considered Shreveport kind of a second home. It's one of the coolest places to come. It's got such a vibe, and they've welcomed me so many times, and I can't wait to come back once this whole mess is over.
Well, this is a great way to kind of be there in spirit. It's really great to hear your voice. It's great to see you, even if it's just virtually. I know you have traveled around a lot. Is that a lot of your travels has been working with Chef Marcus Samuelsson? Is that correct?
A lot of the professional cooking has been working with Chef Marcus Samuelsson. It has been a great experience. I've gotten to learn so many different things. I come from island roots, so working in Bermuda was really close. And then going to something completely opposite to being in Sweden was really different. Working in New York is obviously a beast in itself. And then, you know, now down here in Miami, it's kind of the best of both worlds. It's a big city. It's got a ton of culture. Lots of Latin, lots of Caribbean, so I'm really excited for it. Honestly, it's been a fun project to try to get going so far.
Yeah, and the restaurant you're currently at, Red Rooster Overtown, is a new restaurant for Marcus Samuelsson. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So the flagship is in New York. We're opening up another one. One other one being in London. So this would be our third here in Miami in the community of Overtown. So that is an amazing thing. What we do is we usually take underserved communities, such as Harlem was at one time, London was, and now Overtown, and we basically bring a restaurant and celebrate the history of that community and just kind of show people what it was and what it has been, and then we just really liven it back up. So
that's
we've been
really
very successful so far.
I didn't realize that was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of the goal of the restaurant, or like there was like a mission behind it as well.
Right. You know, like a restaurant is such a community staple, right? Like everyone has their community restaurant, but you know, and it's almost defined by that. So by opening this restaurant, it gives people a pride, right? It gives people a prize. You know, a reason to come to Overtown. You know, it revitalizes the community without pushing people out and without, you know, that regentrification word, but basically, you know, it gives them jobs, it gives them pride, it gives them, you know, money being putting back into their community instead of just, you know, bad looks.
That's really cool. And you know, I know Red Rooster was actually slated to open late March.
Yep, Red Rooster was supposed to open, I believe March 22nd. It's been, I don't know, it seems forever ago.
I know, it's kind of wild.
We had all our staff there. We were in the middle of training, and then we got, you know, the executive order to shut down all restaurants. So at this point we had an entire restaurant full of food, right? Just full of food, this beautiful brand new revitalized building in the middle of this community, all this hype, all this press, so we didn't want it to go to waste, right? So once again, I keep saying that the restaurant was a restaurant for the community, so we immediately said that we needed to feed the community. So we got in touch with Jose Andres and his nonprofit of World Central Kitchen, and we immediately just started giving out the food and feeding the people of the community, knowing that people were about to lose jobs. The restaurant industry, has 6-7 million people in it, and it's a $1 trillion, industry. So all this money was about to go away. People weren't going to be able to go to the grocery store because of the lockdown. So we wanted to make a way that we could feed people as much as we could.
Mm-hmm. So you've been operating Red Rooster almost like a pantry kitchen.
Right. So we've been serving basically our community and whomever wants to come, whoever needs it. That's including our other employees that we actually had to furlough. But about 300 people a day, 3 times a week, and that's not including hospitals, police stations, fire stations, women's shelters, homeless shelters, halfway houses. Anyone who needs food, we've been giving it to them.
That's amazing. So, food donations come through World Central Kitchen. Do you know what you're cooking? You just kind of walk in.
No, so that's the fun part about it. My cooking style is a lot of you see what you have and then you make do what you have from it. It's kind of how I grew up. It's kind of how I like to operate. What the farmers have, what the fishermen have. So we've kind of operated the same way. And the fun part has been that we haven't had to really change how we cook, right? We're still doing this really soulful cultural food, just in a different format. But all the food that we've gotten has been donated. So if anything has come out of this, and I hate to look for silver linings and stuff like this, but if anything has come out of it, we've seen the generosity of people, and I've been super proud of what the hospitality industry has been able to do when they're not making money, but they've been able to actually give out food, and that's an amazing thing to be part of.
Yeah, I think it's really incredible. And I think probably, also, in a very maybe less altruistic way, I'm sure it's also nice to be able to get in the kitchen and cook. There's so many chefs I've spoken to that I just want to get back in my kitchen,
Right.
So I was one of the lucky ones. I got to continue cooking. So I never really stopped cooking. I definitely miss plating food, and I definitely miss, the heat of the kitchen and service. Especially because we never got going, and the anxiety of having this restaurant that's ready to open, but you're just waiting, definitely gets to you. But yeah, just being able to cook has kept me really calm and really centered and really grateful.
Speaking of opening, what are the plans? Are you is there something on the horizon? Are you thinking about that yet?
So we've been allowed to, do takeout, open at 50%. Some other restaurants, more institutionalized restaurants or places that have been around a lot longer have opened up at their 50% capacity and taking all of the precautions, and that's been great to see people go out. We have decided to wait and kind of see what else happens, let everyone else dip their toe in the water and see if it gets bit off by a shark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, we're a new restaurant down here, and we want to make sure we open correctly. Opening at 50% isn't necessarily great for our start. And at the same time, I just don't think it's time yet. We're going to open up a takeout on Juneteenth, June 19th.
Yeah.
So we're going to open up for takeout and try to do it in a really safe way, but we just want to keep continuing watching, and it sucks financially, but health comes first, and we just don't feel like it's ready. There's still a lot going on out there that we don't understand, and people are still sick and losing their lives a little bit, and that's just not something we want to be responsible for.
Totally, I get it. Well, speaking of takeout, I know that you have a little something up your sleeve to show us today. What are you gonna demo for us?
Really, at home in my little kitchen, I just like to kind of keep it simple, and So tonight I'm just gonna probably, this is probably be my dinner. This is just gonna be a big old bowl of pimento cheese, but my style.
Now, before we get started, I gotta ask. I feel like pimento cheese can be something like a little controversial. Like, you know, people get really passionate about like what is allowed in pimento and cheese and what isn't. So are you like a pimento and cheese purist, or are you like always looking for a little twist? I know you've done chopped. I know you like are used to all these. I mean, like you laugh, but listen, you can brag on yourself a little bit. I know you're used to having all sorts of stuff thrown at you. You obviously are also working in that vein right now at Red Rooster, where you don't necessarily know what food's coming in for the day for you to cook. Is this going to be like a straight up pimento and cheese? Do you have rules that you feel people should follow?
I just think food is so open. There's no such thing as rules, right? It just has to be delicious. Right? In the end, just delicious.
There's also been some back and forth here locally talking about whether or not a gumbo has to have okra, which I'm sure you have a weigh in on that.
Can't do okra.
All right.
I guess if you asked if there's any rules, that's the one rule. No okra.
All right. So let's get down to business on this pimento cheese.
Absolutely.
So my pimento cheese is going to be a yuzu kosho pimento cheese. So citrusy, a little spicy. So for you guys, I mean, everyone has to know, right? This is Louisiana, right? So it's usually cheese, mayonnaise, pimentos or roasted red peppers, and there maybe some hot sauce, maybe some cayenne. So I wanted to take all of those elements and kind of spin it on its head. So I always have some weird ingredient. So today it's going to be yuzu kosho, which is this green fermented chili and yuzu zest that comes from Japan. So it's usually salt, yuzu zest, which is a Japanese citrus, and salt. And you mash it all up together and you let it sit, and it gets salty, spicy, delicious. All right, I have some jalapenos, a little freshness, some scallions or green onions. I have some mayonnaise. I was all about to make this and then realized I didn't have mayonnaise, so I made some mayonnaise real quick, really easy. So some homemade mayonnaise. Good cheese, like good cheese. Don't try to buy that, you know, if you have it, you have it, who cares? But I like to hand grate my cheese so I can get the nice big pieces of cheese in there. I'm fatty and I like the cheese. So, and make sure it's like nice and sharp, right? Because you're gonna mix all these things in it so it mutes down the flavor of the cheese. So I like to use a really sharp cheddar, really good one. So I have some like Grafton cheddar right here, 2 years aged, I believe. Some paprika and just some cream cheese. All right, so really simple, guys. All right, so I want to get this fairly smooth and combined, just like that. All right, and then I'm going to work in my jalapenos, and I'm just gonna mash them up a little bit while they're in here to release some of the oils. So that was one jalapeno. You can absolutely use a different chili if you'd like. This is in place of the roasted red peppers that I would usually use, right? And I like it a little spicy, so I added a chili. You can use a Thai chili, a habanero, whatever your poison is, you do it. Okay? So then I'm gonna add in my yuzu kosho, right? So, you know, there it is. It smells amazing. And once again, guys, that's gonna give it really like citrusy flavor as well as salt. Okay, and then a lime. So just a little bit of more freshness. All right, and so if you think about it, I use the lime and the jalapeno to mimic the flavors that are in that yuzu kosho, right? So they're not the same things, but very similar. So I kind of have this fresh and aged flavor on ingredients. So fresh citrus, aged citrus. Fresh heat, aged heat. So that's the zest of a lime. I put about a tablespoon of that yuzu kosho in.
I love the like fermented and fresh, like kind of reinforcing both flavors, but in different ways. That's really like an interesting way of thinking about building flavor.
Absolutely, and you can do that with anything. I tend to do that quite a bit is, you know, if I make a mushroom salad, I'll have raw and cooked mushrooms in it. If I do, a bean salad, I'll have like cooked pureed beans at the bottom and then fresh beans at the top. So then my cheese, right? And I'm just gonna go in with all of it. You can mix the cheeses as well. So if you have some yellow, some white, if you have Colby, which is that weird one that's like
the marbly
cheese
one?
camo.
And about how much cheese are you using, Tristen?
So I'm using white cheddar.
Well, about how much?
Oh, let's see.
Like 8 ounces or so?
I'm using 8 ounces actually. I like the cream cheese because it just makes a thicker and more cheesier mixture, and it helps it mound, right? This is my thing right here. That's how I know I did it right. That whole
pretty
thing.
serious.
You know, like the Dairy Queen Blizzards test, you know what I mean? Like it's like above your head.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Okay, I'm gonna add in some scallions. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of paprika, just to add some smoky flavor to it. This is a really smoky paprika. Not the spicy one, this is the sweet one. But you absolutely could if you wanted to. Now at this point, there's no rules, right? If you want some salt in there, put some salt in there. If you want to throw a big healthy pinch of some black pepper in there, throw it in there. I like it kind of black peppery. You want to throw your favorite hot sauce? I have the fridge stockpiled with Crystal and a bunch of different types of hot sauce. So that'll go in there as well if I wanted to, but this is what I'm feeling tonight. Gonna put it in just a nice little serving bowl.
Oh, look at that.
I like to pile it high, because that way, I pile it high, guys, right? This is important. This is very important. Everybody look, okay? I pile it really high, so that way, before my guests arrive, even if I've eaten this whole top layer, it still looks full and there's no judgment. Okay?
Your secret's safe with us.
All right, perfect. Okay, and then I just put that on a robust plate of crackers. And that's dinner for me tonight, guys. The healthiest.
If you pound that whole bowl of pimento and cheese, I would be super impressed. I think it could be done. You might regret it later.
It definitely could be done. I think this is a double lactate pill for me, but
absolutely.
But yeah, this is it, guys. Like,
I love that.
It's just that. Don't ever be shy on a sandwich, on some crackers, on a hot dog, on a well-sized spoon. That's it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I love it. Like I said, I would never have put yuzu and pimento and cheese, but now you got the gears cranking and thinking.
Yeah, I usually make a kimchi one.
Oh,
That's
sounds killer. Tristen, hey, thank you again, for taking the time to hang with us today, for showing us that pimento and cheese can have literally just about anything in it. We really appreciate it. And any words of inspiration, words of encouragement for your fellow restaurateurs, fellow chefs?
For my fellow restaurateurs and chefs, remember, we're in the hospitality business and we do things, for people. Not 2 people, but 4 people. And we need to continue doing that, and we will survive. People always will need to eat. People will always want to go out. But we're always there for them, and we have to be able to serve them. So stay inside. If you have to go to work, stay safe. Honestly, if we were doing what we're always supposed to be doing, we're fine in the restaurant industry as far as sanitation. But just keep going, and just keep pushing, and just keep feeding people, including yourselves.
Well, if there isn't a reason to Viva now, I can't think of one. All right, so on the count of 3, it looks like you are definitely ready for your Viva. All right, 1, 2, 3. Viva la Paz! Hey, Tristen, thank you again. For all you out there, we'll see you next time. And if you don't see us today, you can always find us on YouTube. Ring the bell, subscribe, and you'll never miss an episode. Thanks again, everybody.